All right, man, we're gonna go ahead and start off this stream to go on. But I want to salute everybody that's in the chat room. And yeah, man, today, man, we're gonna talk about really getting your mind right, really getting your body right, man. And we're gonna discuss some workouts, man. Things that we like to do. I'm more of a slender guy, so I got different kind of workouts than the Gone. The Gone do big boy exercises, man. So we're gonna get into a few things. But first, I want to get into an introduction and how I started working out. Um, and this probably was about I don't know, maybe 10, 11 years ago. I had a situation, man. I had a friend of mine really invite me to the gym. I think he recognized I was going through some depression. And I was still in the military at the time, and he just grabbed me. He said, "Yo, man, let's go to the gym." And I didn't know what I was doing at first. I was just going in there, just lifting. Whatever he did, I kind of did. You know, um, then after that, we would work out, play a couple games of basketball. But what happened was I really figured out working out did more for my mentals than it really did for my body. And just so happened, I had the kind of frame that I can put on muscle because I was always a naturally slender guy, since I was a kid. So I had the kind of frame that I can really put on muscle. And it started to come on its own. And everybody around me started to notice a change in me. My confidence got better. Of course, my body started getting bigger. And then I kind of took it serious a couple years later. I started really getting into the bodybuilding piece of it. You know what I'm saying? And really started working the actual muscles. And this is when I started to put on, 10 pounds, and then went to 20 pounds and 30 pounds. It got to a point I put on like 50, 60 pounds, just eating, dieting, working out. But one of the things working out did for me, Nagone, it really helped out my mentals at that time. I can't stress that enough. And it all started because a friend of mine just grabbed me up, man, and said, "Come on, let's go to the gym." So, I've been an advocate for it ever since. I'll never stop working out. I think I'm gonna go out like Ronnie Coleman, but I'll let you take it here from the go.
Yeah. Working out, body building, body development. It's a mind and body thing because in order to really kind of get your body right, you have to have your mind right. So you have to work both. They both work in concert. The mind and the body is power. So if you definitely going to power one, it's great to power the other. A lot of people say, well, people who have muscles, a lot of guys who have muscles is because that's how they get all the girls and everything else like that. But it's really not so much the muscles. Building muscle and all that, it comes from work. There's a confidence level that people gain from that. And that confidence, I believe, is what helps people to build muscle and get a lot stronger. So I think that's kind of the bottom line there. Um, I started working out when I was a teenager. I actually popped on a football many years ago and started working out then, and that's what got me into working out with weights. And then, of course, the movie Pumping Iron and all that stuff came out, and then I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we actually had a chance to meet him down by one of our stores here in Westchester County years ago when he was promoting the movie, and we had a chance to run up on him, me and my brother, and it was pretty funny how that kind of worked out. We saw Arnold; he was a pretty big guy, and we all wanted to get swole like him. The term swole wasn't around much then, but we certainly wanted to get big, and we were skinny kids running around wanting to put on some muscle. So ever since so I've been working out ever since I've been a kid, but I really kind of taken this working out even more seriously since I stopped in my 40s. For about a good 8 years, I stopped and didn't do anything, and then I decided to get back into it again because I saw myself starting to deteriorate. Because in my 30s, I was very active in tournament fighting and martial arts and so forth and all of that. And then as my 40s, as I started to build business and dealing stuff with the family and all that, I kind of got out of it. And I saw myself start to deteriorate very quickly. And I said, well, I want to stop this deterioration. Let me get back into the gym, and got back into the gym, and I've been steady with it ever since. So that's kind of how I really have gotten into it. And I first started working out just literally getting on the treadmill and trying to lose a lot of weight. I think I was 285, almost 290 pounds, and I came all the way down to 211 pounds. Just running on the treadmill and dieting and so forth, and getting into a good diet. So I didn't really start lifting. Then I started seeing I had lost a lot of weight. I had gotten lean. I wanted to make sure I looked really good, but my muscles was kind of soft. So I said it's about time to start really getting back into that lifting again. And then that's when we started powering up the weights, and started working out with myself. And then I caught a young workout partner. I think you talked to him one time, my boy Patricky. Got him on the see Boogie talked to him on the phone one day, so he knows what we're talking about. And we started working out together, and I really started to build up. And young millennial kid, when you get the boomer and the millennial, when you work together, boy, it's a powerful team. And we really did some great things in the gym, and that I've haven't really stopped since. Been on it for about 8 years and been going pretty strong. And he started out with me. He was I think 188 pounds, and now he's about 265 all muscle, and no drugs, no anything. Um, but I really utilized the gym to get through a lot, to get through a lot of stresses, a lot of other issues, and it focused me on business. It also focused me on really getting my life together in so many ways. So the gym is a big part of just life. It's a lifestyle now. It's a lifestyle. So it's just not about just lifting weights and building muscle, but it's a lifestyle. It's a way of life. And my close friends are people who I really roll with. You got to kind of be in the gym. You got to be training, because I think training your body is also training your mind. So I want to be around fairly well trained people. But I'll just leave it at that for right now. And we'll get into some of the stuff that we get into in a minute. But anyway, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, man. You really touched on something to go on. It's about the discipline, man. You know, one of the things about the gym, bro, it really, really taught me discipline about myself, along with other things. But I noticed once I made it a lifestyle, nothing was going to keep me from the gym. Not the succubus, not, like people knew I had to work out. It was a point in time I was working out twice a day. Of course, I don't do that anymore. But I would work out in the morning, also work out at night. And plus I was in the military, so we had physical training in the morning, PT. So I was really in peak condition at one time. And what it did for me, Nagone, it really put things in perspective about my life. That was my place of refuge when it was nothing but chaos around me. It really got me to really finding an outlet for my stress, for my thoughts. I would go in there, bang out. I mean, bang out heavy. People thought I was crazy, man. That's the place where I get fucking hammerous in that motherfucker, man. People think I'm bugging out, but that's the place where
Hammer.
you release that testosterone. That's the place where a man could be a man. And I talk about that killer instinct, but this is one of the places that helps you develop that killer instinct when you really learning how to do what you don't feel like doing. And I'm going to repeat that. When it comes to the gym working out, you learn how to do what you don't feel like doing. And so that's pretty much where I'm at it, man. And so really with me to go, since I'm a slender guy, but I always had a frame to kind of put on muscle. When I first started working out, I was kind of playing around with the weights, just kind of going from machine to machine, not really knowing how to train that muscle and really work that muscle out, right? But then over time, I started to isolate and work each muscle by itself individually. And this is when I achieved my best gains, right? And so then that's when I read the Bible, Arnold Schwarzenegger's book. Um, Started reading a lot of different magazines. I really got with some guys that knew what they were doing, guys that were always stronger than me. And I started lifting heavy. And this is what put bulk on me after a while, man. I started lifting heavy, squatting heavy, benching heavy. Then it got to a point where I didn't even work out on the bench, man. I was only doing dumbbells, man, dumbbell inclines, things of that nature, man. But I have a
Hey,
very unorthodox workout because
stuff.
one of the things that I stress to people is knowing their own body. You have to know your body. Like C Boogie knows what his body needs at all times. I know if I'm dehydrated. I know if I need to eat vegetables. I know if I need to lift heavy or kind of take it down to a lighter weight. I know if I need to take a week out of the gym, if my joints are hurting because I don't want to get no injuries. So it gets to a point where you start working out smarter and not harder. And I see a lot of people in the gym just throwing around weight, not really working on a form. And this is how the injuries come as well. I had a few injuries myself, and so I'm fighting through those as we speak. But one of the things I'm gonna stress, man, to go on is I really made this a lifestyle. I want to be one of the guys that's 65, 70 years old in the gym, man. I see those guys, they still look pretty good. They still got a youthful exuberance, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what I want to be like, man. Yeah, but you can take it from here, man. Kind of get into some things that you do to kind of build on some bulk.
Okay. I'll get into it. First of all, as far as the gym is concerned, this is how I'm going the fuck out. This is how I'm going out. You feel me? This is how I'm going out. The gym. Fountain of youth is in the gym. That's where it is. So a lot of people may want to sit back and say, oh, I'll sit around it. Nah, the fountain of youth is in the gym, baby. You got to be putting that effort in. You got to be putting in that work. Put in that work. A lot of people talk about that work. They ain't putting in that work. Put in that work. To me, become a man in the gym. I've seen, young Patricky, who's much younger than me, help make him a man. Help put some hair on his chest. You become men in the gym. Now I come out of the powerhouse gym. Powerhouse gym over here in Westchester, powerhouse. Then over Extreme, then over at Mount Vernon Barbell, MVBB. Where we get savage. So there's a way of really getting into it, but not everybody's going to do that. So I don't expect everybody to become a straight beast in the gym and go crazy. I'm a beast. This is what I. This is what I do. This is what I'm into. So the bottom line is, this is the only way for me to go. It's the only way to go. When I'm done with this, box me up and send me on my way. So anyhow, as far as really working out and really getting into it, when I first really started to get back after I got really lean, I wanted to put on some muscle. I wanted to get what we call the profile of power: big traps, big shoulders, wide back, small waist, bigger thighs. Try to get that flared look. When you walk down the street, motherfuckers are like, this dude, we know he's hitting it, as opposed to these other 12-inch arm dudes walking around skinny, weak, talking like they live like that, and they're highly sucker laid. I don't like that. I like looking like a warrior. I enjoy that look. I enjoy that. That gives me the confidence to do what I do. And I think we should be confident. We should be confident about ourselves. Build up your esteem, and weights help to do that. They building your body is building yourself as well. So there's there's a balance there. But anyway, as far as really working out and getting large, I ascribe to what's called a progressive overload lifting regime. So let's say we'll start out to build. And remember, I'm natural, so I don't use drugs. A lot of guys use drugs. I'm very much against drugs. So there's no need for drugs. A lot of guys say, well, I got to take this. My testosterone levels are low. Get your ass in the gym, start hitting it hard, build your testosterone levels, get that nut sack, working. That's pushing it hard in the gym. And you'll get you'll certainly will get your ankles up that way as well. So the name of the game is to really push that and really get that to work well for you. So you got to really push it. You got to push it in the gym. Now, how will we do progressive overload lifting? What's progressive overload lifting about? Let's say I'm doing a chest workout and I want to start to build a strong chest, round chest. You could do it with barbells, as you say, but dumbbells are very good as well. DBs help to get you a lot stronger. Why? They're two separate weights, and they really help to balance out weaknesses from the left to right side. They really help to do that. So that's how you really get strong, and that's how you balance things out quite well. One of the things I would like to say also about working out before you really get into a good workout program is, if you know a lot about lifting weights, that's great, but it's always good to train up with somebody who knows, or definitely do some research about reading and so forth about doing the proper exercise in the proper form. Because if your form is wrong, you can easily get hurt. Very easy to get hurt or not get the gains you want because you're not doing exercises properly. I see certain guys, they're pushing up and doing all kind of crazy stuff when they're lifting on the bench or doing deadlifts or doing a lot of other things. And sometimes we mess up on strict form. That does happen. But the more stricter your form is, the better your results are going to be. That's why a lot of times it's not always worrying about so much weight. I get into heavy poundages now because I'm used to kind of getting into heavy poundages. But when I first started out, we start out very light and do very lightweight with proper form. It's going to help you grow. But progressive overload is consistently going up each set, each for going up each set and you might decrease the reps. So let's say we're doing a bench press and I'm doing dumbbells and we're doing flat back. I'll start out with warm ups about 60 pounds. And you'll do maybe 50 reps very quickly, start out with that, especially if you warmed up properly. So there's a whole way of warming up that you do. So there's some warming up exercises, but I'll just do a warm up set with, say, 60 pounds. And then we'll get into, let's say our workout range. So I myself will start with 100-pound dumbbells. Start with 100 pounds, and we'll crank that out for about a good 25 reps. That's first set. All right. Then, he'll do this about the same thing. My workout partner will do about the same thing, or it'll come fairly close. Then we'll do the second set. We'll go up 115. So I'll go 115. I'll go now 20 reps on that. So I'll go 20 reps on 115. He'll go 20. We'll take it from there. Then, to get a little bit of rest, and we don't rest longer than a minute. So we're not waiting 5 or 10 minutes. We start to take longer rest the heavier weight you go. So then we'll go up the next set. We'll go 120s. So I'll take 120. I'll do that 15 reps. 120s. Then we'll crank that out. 15 120s. Now shit's starting to get hard. Okay, now you're starting to get a little bit fatigued, a little bit. You feel it. You're getting that burn. You're doing strict form on the bench. And these are dumbbells now, DBs, to get you stronger. All right. Then from there, let's say we'll go 130s. I'll go when I 130s, 10 reps. 130s, 10 reps. All right. And now we're doing, instead of a minute rest, we're doing now, let's say, a minute and 25 seconds, or a minute and a half. You're getting a little extra because you're getting a little tired now. So we'll go 10 on those. Now in with strict form, your pecs, if you're doing it right, are burning. Your pecs are burning now. You're coming up to the top, you're bringing it down. You're coming up to the top, you're bringing it down. You're bringing it down not fast, but you're trying to get an even amount of speed on the reps. You're not blasting it up and dropping it and blasting it up. You can hurt yourself. So you're doing a constant, what we call constant tension. Constant tension is what helps you to really grow muscle, because now, for the amount of time that you're putting that weight up, if you're not moving it too fast, you're moving it a little bit slower, puts more tension on the muscle, fatigues it a lot more, works it a little bit harder. And under constant tension, you're putting that muscle under strain a little bit longer. And therefore, it starts to burn a lot more. So constant tension, very important. Okay, especially when you start to get even to the heavier reps. Now we're starting to get into the real big weight. Then I'll grab 140. We have 140 pounds. Now we'll go 8 reps with that. 8 reps. Now we've had a minute and a half rest. We come back, buck 40s. We're going 8 reps. Now you're burning. Now you're on fire. And the weight is heavier. Now you're heavier. So you're doing 8 reps with 140s. You're getting there, and your partner, he might be spotting you at the elbows a little bit now, help you move the weight up. But that's okay, because now you're starting to really burn. You're burning it really good. You're getting those reps in, and you're playing with that heavy-ass weight, but you're hitting it for reps. Finish with that. Take almost a 2-minute rest. Now we're going into the big boy weight. We're getting ready to cap it off, to bust off. Our bust off weight will be a set of 150s, and we'll do a finisher with 160s. So we'll hit 150s. Now we're going to hit 150s, 5 reps, from 8 to 5. Now we're going to hit 5 clean, hard reps, 5 to 6. If you can get 6 out, you crank out 6 reps, 150s, and you are screaming on fire. But the name of the game, if you want to build size, is you got to work through that pain. That's the difference that separates the men and the boys. Now you're hitting through that pain threshold. You're hitting heavier weight. You're now pressing your body now to really push really hard, and that lactic acid is building up, and you're pushing through that burn, and that's when you're screaming, and you're really trying to get it done, and you're going through that pain threshold. This is where your power is born. This is where the sucker laid backs off and he quits. This is where the guy who's looking to make gains, this is where he really reps through. Now, that could be different for people. It could be lower weights or whatever. But the name of the game is you got to push through that burn. That's why guys come into the gym year in, year out, look the same and make no gains because they never push through that pain threshold. Then we'll do the last set. I'll go 160s, 4 to 5 if I can do as close to as now 4 to 5 reps if we can do as close to what we did with the 150s. And the 160s are going to burn like crazy, and that's that heavy ass weight. And we crank that up for that about 4 to 5 reps there. You are burning, your biceps. Now you're cheating a little bit just because you're just trying to get a little bit of the weight up, and you're not cheating too much, but your muscles are well activated. So you're still going to get a tremendous burn out of it. You're trying to do what you can to kind of move the weight a little bit. You're going to do a little bit at the last. You're getting spotted at the elbows to make sure you keep the weight up and keep it going down right. Then you bring it down, and you're done. All right? Out of that, you should be close to well into 100 reps. So you're doing heavy weight, large volume. And that's how you have to push it as a natural bodybuilder if you're going to do that. That's your chest. That's, let's say, your flat back. Then you do the same thing on incline. You come up with your incline dumbbells. You're going to do a little less weight because the upper chest has less fibers than it does for the lower. So you're going to lower the weight a little bit, but we'll probably top off at the very top at about 130s, maybe 135s or so. But we'll start out with 100s and we'll go up the same way. And we'll maybe go up to 130, 135. So I'm not going to do 160s on inclines. I can certainly do that, but that's something that I'm going to try to get quality reps out of it. Same type of deal on the incline. Boom, you come down. So it's consistent, progressive overload of that muscle. So you're hitting it in such a way where you're tiring it, but you're consistently pushing it and you're stretching it and you're pushing that muscle and you're working through that burn. That burn is what separates the men from the boys because you got to work through that burn. Most people who are in the gym year in, year out look exactly the same. They never have hit that. They never have hit that peak. Like I said, my boy, my man Patricky, he started out with me. He's 6'3". He was 188. Now he's 265. A pure savage, all natural, and that's what really got him to the level that he got to. So that's how you have to kind of work that. Let's say that's just flat back incline bench, all right. And then of course you're going to do. Then we'll go upstairs and we'll hit the what's called a hammer strength machine. Now it's free weights. Now it's hammer strength. It's each individual for each arm. We'll start out at 1 plate just to warm up. Then we'll go to 2 plates. And we'll do that just to do, 2 plates now on each side. And then we'll go to 3 plates, which we'll go on for 10 or 15 reps. And we'll go for 4 plates. And then somebody like me, I'm going to put 5 plates on each side, which is going to be a balanced weight of, say, 225 on each side. But yet I'm going to bang that out finally for about 3 or 4 reps. So we're going to go hard, consistently hammer and hammer and hammer that muscle. All right, not destroy it, but the name of the game is to hammer it, to push it, to make it grow, and you got to push it through. Then you do your stretching exercises and so forth, and then you're done. But a workout like this with all those kind of pieces, just for chest alone, it's probably going to take you about an hour, 20 minutes, okay? And then when you come out of there, you can barely put your elbows together, your chest is hurting, all that. You go home, you're going to eat a great deal, and you're going to see measurable gains. We do that for everything else. Squats, same type of game. We'll start out 135s, 135, plate on each side. You'll do that. You start your warm-ups with that. Well, we'll start up with the bar first. Warm up with the bar, and that's it, just to get your motion together and make sure you're coming down parallel and you're coming up. And then you start with 1 plate, 2 plates. I'll go 3 plates, 315, and then I'll have a finishing set of a 405. And that's about 3 reps as well. But it's still, progressive overload lifting where you're doing 315, a good 3 sets, good 10 reps in between, and then you'll get 405 and you'll hit that for 2 sets for about 6 or 7 reps, and your legs and your thighs are burning like a mother. And then, you start doing your toe raises and all other kind of stuff like that. My legs, even though I'm a big guy, at my age, it's hard to get them as big as they were when I was younger. Because as you get older, that's one of the first things you keep a little small, but they're still very strong. So you're constantly increasing your strength profile, and you're using progressive overload lifting as a way of increasing your your power line. That's it. Progressive overload is how the natural bodybuilder who is lifting naturally, who is not using drugs to build and lift. But the key to increasing muscle size is working through the burn. Most people don't like pain, so you have to move through a certain pain threshold. That's what makes you a man in the gym, working through that. And I see a lot of guys who are making gains who do that. Most people who do not work through that pain threshold do not make certain types of gains. They just don't do it. Proper form is very important. All right, proper form is very important. High volume, very important, and working really, really working down and breaking that muscle down and really concentrating on that muscle group. So good form is very important, but you have to work that muscle and you have to be very comfortable with dealing with a certain degree of pain.
Yeah, hey Nagone, man. I want to introduce Maxwell. You're lifting, man. He's a power lifter. So like I want to introduce you to the chat room and everybody, man. So I want to salute you for coming on, man. But you can take it from here, man, and give a brief introduction, Maxwell, yeah, man, and kind of give us how you do your powerlifting routine, man.
Sounds good. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Word. All right. This is the first time I've done anything like this. Yeah. I'm Maxwell lifting, at least on here. I'm at work in my office right now, so y'all are probably hearing the emergency vehicles go by. But yeah, that was an insane routine, like throwing up dumbbells. I said in the chat, like sticks. That's
Real hammerous.
Oh yeah.
All that hammer laid.
But for me, basically the intensity that the gun puts into dumbbells, I'm putting into barbell. So the main difference that I find between powerlifting and bodybuilding is it's more about the central nervous system, and you're priming yourself to do lots of weight but very low rep. So you're building power rather than building size. Now there's power building, which is more popular now than it used to be, where you're using both bodybuilding approaches as you use powerlifting. So sometimes, let's say if it's outside of your main three lifts, which are bench, deadlift, and squat, you might do a lot of high rep routines like Nagone was suggesting. But the main point is it's more of an accessory to the center, which is your primary three lifts. Now, I guess a little bit of background. I started out as a soccer player. In fact, I still coach soccer now and running track. So, and it was mainly distance. So I started out running like a mile, 2 miles. I was really lean. I guess when I was like 16 was when I started lifting, like doing more than just body weight. And actually, so I live in New Orleans. I went to high school here, but I went into high school right before Katrina, and I had to move out to Baton Rouge. And one of the schools that I was at didn't have football, didn't have any major sports, but they had gymnastics. And that was the first time I was actually getting to the gyms because I was learning how to do some of the gymnastics techniques, which takes a lot of strength. So that was like, it was a change from what I normally did. So that was the first time I got under a bar at all. And then from that into college, I started doing a little bit more, but it was about when I went abroad to Brazil. It's cheap as hell. And I was actually going to ask Nagone if his training partner was Brazilian.
Oh no. My training partner is not Brazilian. I just used that. It was a MMA fighter who I had. His name is Patrick Pitbull. If you know who he is, fights a Bellator.
Okay, and, but yeah, I could hear like Patrick. I picked up on that.
But I speak Portuguese fluently because I live there.
Oh wow, so anyway. We're gonna have to talk about that later. Yeah, I've been to Brazil about 4 times, and I'm about to go again for honeymoon.
You don't speak Portuguese, though, do you?
Yeah, eu falo português.
Fala português? Verdade? Onde você aprende a falar? Muito interessante.
Fortaleza e Salvador. But we
Fortaleza conheço muito, tá. Eu falarei com você depois, tá? Tchau.
But yeah, so in Brazil, it's real cheap to work out. So like, gosh, this was in 2011. I was in Fortaleza, and we have class, and then at lunch, I'd go to a gym that was like a block away, and I'd run a mile, and it was hot, so I'd run a mile, and then I'd do powerlifting, and I was doing a 5x5 program, which is really anybody who starts. That's what I would suggest you do. And with 5x5, basically, it's your main lifts are all being done 5 sets of 5 reps, and you start off low. So even if you want to start off like 135 with bench, 135 with squat, if you really haven't done it, you can start off at 90 pounds. But the point is every time you come in, you're doing 5 pounds heavier than you did before. For deadlift, you're deadlifting 1 time a week, so you'll add on 10 pounds. But it's they call it Mad Cow 5x5. But there are a bunch of different programs. There's starting strength, and they all use they're called linear programming, where every time you go in, you do a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And the good part about it is you start off low so that you can just work on form. Form is everything. If you're not using correct form, you're going to mess yourself up. In fact, I've been in and out of physical therapy a few times in order to work out some of the imbalances that inevitably going to happen because you're pushing yourself to your limit. And so if you've got like glute activation, for instance, is something that everybody forgets about. And so that compounded over time, where you're putting hundreds of pounds in your back multiple times a week over a number of weeks, if not months, if not years, can really mess you up. So a big point is keep your form strict. The more you cheat yourself, the more you open yourself up to get injured later on. So what I did was, for about 3 years, I guess the first couple of years I was doing linear programming. And even if I wasn't doing a program, if I got off of it, I would always be consistently in the gym. Like, it got to the point where, really at this point, it's never a question about whether or not I go to the gym. It's just when. Like I said in the chat, it got me through law school because because I'm an attorney, and I just passed the bar a few months ago. But in order to maintain that stress or maintain your life in the midst of all that stress, you have to have an outlet. And where everybody else is doing drugs and getting drunk all the time, I was just like, nah, I'm gonna lay the foundation going into my 30s, having conditioned myself to need to do something that's positive. So, no, unwaveringly, I don't care if it was like I had an exam that day. If I was feeling apprehensive about it, I'd go in the gym and bust out a bunch of reps. And I'm telling you, it's nothing like the testosterone boost that you get from putting a bunch of plates on your back and squatting, blowing out, racking that, and feeling like you had the mountain on your back and you were able to handle it. Like, your body responds to it, man. And really, when I was in Brazil, by the time I came back, I put on like 20 pounds of muscle. And I guess my squat had gone from when I started, it might have been 250 to where I was repping over 400 pounds. Bench was approaching 300 pounds. Deadlift, I've never had a problem with deadlift. So that was like.
How long were you in Brazil for?
So that time I was in Brazil, it was a study abroad program. So I was there for about 5 months. Let's see, I started out in, I want to say, September to December. So it was just a fall semester. And then I went back the subsequent summer to do volunteer work with a NGO that worked with kids that were living on the street.
Meninas da Rua, huh? Meninas da Rua.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And at the same time, I was actually training in capoeira. So really in capoeira is a Brazilian martial art form.
I'm very familiar with it. I mean, I trained a little bit with it, but I was with I actually was with the Gracie School over there in Figueiredo, Magalhães. Yeah, so I was with them. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so really what my routine is 5 days a week, I like run a mile and then go to the gym immediately afterwards. And then 2 days a week, I was after that training in capoeira, And then on the weekends, like I was living with a host family, and we would play soccer. Just everybody's playing soccer. So it was just constant activity. And by the time I got back here, I continued doing soccer and capoeira kind of as my cardio, but my base was formed through powerlifting. So I actually became competitive in it. This is my second year competing in it. And most recently, I won a competition in outside of Lafayette down here, where I totaled 1,500 pounds, deadlifted 644, benched 363, and conservatively squatted 501. But qualified for nationals next year, so that'll be in October. But that's really what my goal was, and I don't get money to do it. One of my coaches is floating a sponsorship, but it's really less about that and more about just competition, right? Like Kevin's talked about it, just the need to be in an environment that's constantly competitive and competitive in a healthy way, because the more I'm able to prove myself, not just, oh, I hit some numbers, but to be able to go on a platform with judges all around under strict conditions, competing with like all these other people and proving, no, I genuinely am strong, is really positive. And for most people as adults, you lose that competitive edge because there's not much of a need, or people don't perceive a need to continue being competitive in that way. And I
Yeah, like
want to
let me
know.
chime in real quick, Max, for you. You know, because you spoke on that competitive edge, bro, and that's key. One of the things that when I really was lifting heavy weight, this is what built up that killer instinct that I talk about. And and when I say killer instinct, of course, I don't mean literally, you know. I mean, but the point was I'm talking about my instincts to win.
Right.
You know, I mean, really to win. The gym really gave me a focus, bro, of winning. Don't stop. I can't really explain it. It's more of a feeling for me at this point. Kind of even hard to articulate that feeling.
It
Only guys
translates
that
into
really,
every part of your life too, man.
yeah,
Because for me, like I reach a benchmark, and in training, right, I want to hit, let's see, when I was my first year of law school, I finally hit 315, right? And after that, I'm just like, well, shit, why not 405? And so right now, I'm at 380, but I'm like, I'm not satisfied until I'm going to hit that. When I broke
Let me ask you on your bench when you're doing when you're looking to get 405. Are you trying to do that alone, or are you getting a spotter to help you spot a little bit?
That's a good question. It depends. I oftentimes, if it is anything below 365 and I'm doing anything less than 3 reps, I don't need a spot. I just don't.
I'm gonna give you a suggestion. Work with a spotter on the heavier weights.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Start to get the motion as the weights get heavier. All
Yeah. In
right,
fact,
and then you start doing reps on your own, but that's going to help you to push up your game.
yeah.
Now, if you're talking about the bench press, um, the key for it is you got to have strong leg drive.
Right.
Your leg
Right.
drive, and you got to keep your shoulders and your rear end. You really got to bring those together as close as possible,
Yeah.
and make sure you get that key arch so you can get a lot more torque in that lift, because the powerlifting bench press lift is much different than the bodybuilding bench press lift.
Right. Right.
They're two separate lifts, and
Mhm.
that arch and that leg drive is critical.
And
You will
that's
find,
what the big difference is in training versus in competition.
yeah,
Because in competition, man, you've already squatted 3 times really maximal.
mm-hmm.
So then when you're on the bench, if you haven't factored in your dehydration, then your lats are going to start cramping up on you. Things are going to start cramping up on you that you're not thinking.
I certainly understand that, but the key of it is because because the gym I'm in right now, it's very much big. You know, the bodybuilders are a lot of power lifters. I don't know if you ever. One of the guys, he just left, but he's out in California right now. You know who Larry Wheels is?
Oh, come on. Come on. I know who Larry Wheels is. He's a monster.
He was in my gym. We worked out with him all the time. Okay, Larry Wheels, one of the strongest men in the country. Okay, 23 years old, brother. Okay, he just did. He was doing a sitting overhead press 515. All right. You know what kind of weight? You know what kind of weight that is? 515 sitting overhead press.
Yeah, I think he just overhead press 405 for reps.
No. It's 515. 515.
Oh no, I mean, standing. It was just. I don't mean.
Standing again. Yeah, standing again. Yeah. You can do. I mean, the man is incredible.
Ridiculous.
But he's on the juice. You know, he got a little juice going as well. He's open about the juice. But even if he wasn't on the juice, he would still be a very strong guy.
Yeah.
So watched a lot of his techniques because I watched him a lot, and he's a lot younger than me. He could be my son, but in the overall, his strength game is crazy, and his technique is pristine. When you watch him lift, regardless how what kind of good he is, because sometimes you get a little bit dehydrated. It's that form that is so important. You gotta really stick to that form. And that leg drive on that bench press is key.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And really getting that strong arch, really bringing that rear end and those shoulders together. Really crunching and getting that big arch on the back, because really it comes down to just you tapping off on the belly and coming up. So you can really use your legs a lot. There's a lot to the technique. There's just a lot to it. I'm just throwing it out there. That's all.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been in a particular place with my training. So before I was dealing with some significant sciatic nerve pain. And pain is in all of this, pain is going to happen. And that's a big part of what Nagone was talking about is you have to prepare yourself to push through.
You have to have a high threshold.
But it was even in that competition, it wasn't really what I knew that I was fully capable of. I just wanted to hit as many lifts as I possibly could at as high of a level of form as I possibly could. So now that I know what my base level is, that was really what my point was before about even if you're hitting a threshold, and even if that threshold is so much larger than everybody else. So I'm at Tulane's gym here in New Orleans, which there aren't a whole lot of really, really big lifters there. So if I'm putting 5 plates on the bar, people stop and look. But to me, I'm just this is nothing for anybody who does this very seriously. So I can't have my standards be set to what other people are reacting to. I got to set my own bar, and I know I want to eventually hit 700. I'm at 644. I don't really care about what they're reacting to. I got to have my plan to get to 700. Correct. And that's really what this whole game is about. Is it strictly personal? And notice in all this, we have not said a damn thing about women. This is not about that. None of this is about that.
Let me just say this. We talk a lot about women. See, this is what I love about the lifting game. When you get into that gym and you do what you have to do, it sets the world back in its proper place. What do I mean by that? All these women talk about, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, yeah. Get up underneath here and put it in. Get up underneath this bench and crank out 315. Get up underneath here, man, and put up these 140-pound bays. Okay? Put 5 plates on your back.
Exactly.
And go to the bucket. Let's fucks with it. Now, when that happens, it's game over. They're gone. They're sitting there looking at you, fucking pussy getting wet, talking about, I know he can fuck. Look how much this nigga's lifting. He can fuck. That's what they start to think. Takes this thing back to where it belongs, to the natural way of things. That's what I like about the gym. So it cuts all that out. Women are not a part of that. I mean, it's fine if someone want to try to get down with you, but when we're around throwing around all that weight, they don't want to fuck around with you. They think about messing with. They think about trying to play with you as opposed to as to lifting with you. So
I gotta warn some guys if they're not experienced with it. So it's not the chicks that are gonna be noticing first or saying anything about it. It's dudes.
Well, a lot of dudes are haters. Me. I was on the phone with T Boogie and my boy Patricky. We were talking about it. I get a lot of hate. Now I'm an older
Mm,
guy now. I take fish oil and so forth, so my joints are really in very good shape. I use very good form. I've never had any very serious injuries, so I've been pretty, not so much lucky, but I've been smart about how I've trained. So therefore, I'm able to deal with very serious poundages without getting very badly hurt. And that's just over this years of training and being smart about it, as opposed to ego lifting a lot. And we ego lift at times just to kind of do certain things in the gym to kind of set things in a certain motion. but but at the same time, ego lifting has its place because sometimes it helps you to drive you to the next level. But
right.
you got to be careful about it because you can get very badly hurt. So form and all these kind of things for me are very strict. Now, they're looking for me to do a powerlifting meet in our town in April, and I'm trying to get to a 550 clean bench. So
Ooh,
that's what I'm trying. 550 clean. I'm trying to get that clean, and
yeah.
I've tried it twice and missed it. The best I've done so far is 525,
What
and
weight class?
I'd be heavyweight class. Heavyweight, and the over 40-year-old group.
So that's
All right,
120 kilos.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
Those are the
yeah.
monsters, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get there naturally. The only thing I take is creatine. That's it.
Same here.
That's it. And creatine does help me. It helps me. It definitely helps me with reps. And so that as I build more, it gets me up there. But 550 is where I'm trying to go. And I figure if I'm able to and I'm just going to do bench because my squat game was really good, but I've had some little hip issues, so I'm not going much past 4 or 5. I could probably do 5 on my back, but I'm getting old now. I don't want to put that kind of weight on my back. But and it's plus, you're carrying a lot of weight a lot further. The
Yeah,
bench is a little easier for me. You know what I mean? And my issue now is just with the bench press is trying to change from the body lifting push to the powerlifting bench push, which are two
yep.
different lifts altogether. Because when you're doing bodybuilding, and especially if I'm doing just weight, on the barbell, I'm really trying to squeeze, bring the weight down and then squeeze off at the top with your pecs, which is not what you want to do in powerlifting. Powerlifting, you want to
Right.
make sure since it's a full body movement, you really got to get strong leg drive in there, and you really have to have your technique rather pristine. And so I think that's where, and I know the techniques, I know the difference of the techniques, but you know, like I said, the powerlifting bench press, even though and the bodybuilding bench press, even though they look similar, are two different lifts.
Right. I think
Are actually two different lifts altogether. So it's the technique, and that's where I'm really having some issue with because I'm not getting the leg drive that I need
mhm.
for the bigger weight, and I can feel just literally every connection, pulling from its origin, literally when I'm benching that kind of when you're putting a quarter ton over your chest and you're bringing it
Yeah.
down, you got to make sure you're on point, and and I'm feeling a little too much pull in in the chest and
Mm.
and actually on the biceps, so I'm not getting enough drive on the legs, and then that's where part of my issue is. But I'll see. We'll see. But it's getting a little dangerous for me now. But anyway, I want to be the best. I want to be the strongest that I can be at my age, and that's what I'm attempting to do.
And that's the point, man.
Yeah,
Always finding some point where you could be better than you are.
yeah,
And that is something that's lost for a lot of people after they leave high school. They never compete in anything again. And that's never going to be me. And I mean, I'm going to keep doing this as long as I can, um, as long as I stay healthy. And yeah, I did have a question about
you can
nutrition.
stay healthy. This is one of the secrets that the good Lord gave you that most people don't understand. I am one of the few men because I think the kind of weight I lift, I'm probably point one point 0.1% of the population on Earth. All right. And they're guys who have 500-pound lifts, but that's a very small number of people if you
Right.
look around. If you look around the world, it's that's a very tiny number. Um, but one of the secrets that the good Lord has given you, if you don't know, the older you get, the stronger you become.
Mm.
Technically, you should be able to have you to densify your muscles at a greater level. If you don't get hurt, you should build strength as you get
Right.
older, and you do.
A lot of the
So,
record holders are
so
well over 30 years old
are all
in
older. So,
powerlifting.
how old are you right now?
I'm 27.
You won't hit your powerlifting maximum, I wouldn't believe, till you're 39, 40.
Yeah.
If you don't get hurt,
Right.
you stay healthy,
That's the point.
and you make sure that if you do have any injuries, you beg off, come back. I mean, I've seen other guys like Eric Spoto and some of these other guys who tore their shoulders out, but I mean
Right.
they had 700 pound bench presses,
Right.
but still for me, old man Henderson, he was you know the old 10 to 6 o'clock. Natural said he was natural brother, 705 natural lift. Strongest motherfucker I ever seen, tearing phone books in half with his bare hands, all this kind of stuff.
Well, yeah,
So
Nagone, man, I'm gonna touch on that really quick. Since you started talking about the injuries, man.
James Henderson. I mean, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, man, because I'm gonna tell, because I had about 6 surgeries, man, right? And excuse me, like over the course of maybe a small period of time. And one of the things guys got to realize is muscle memory is real. Muscle memory is a real thing. I had 2 surgeries just this year. I had to get pins in my wrist. I had torn ligament on my wrist, and I had to get another reconstruction surgery on my ankle. And that was within a 6 month time frame. So I spent my whole summer with my leg in a cast, and thanks to that, you get C Boogie Productions. But the point is, every time I got to take time off the gym. Like maybe I took 6, 7 months off this year, and I just got back, not in the gym not too long ago. But the point is, my body knew how to respond. I'm not saying it was an easy thing because I had to work out, the cobwebs and things like that, and build my strength back up and also my conditioning because my conditioning was very, very weak. But the point is, my body knew what to do and knew how to respond to the weight because I have been doing it for so long. And now I'm very, very cautious on how I work out. That's why I say now I work harder, not smarter. So, one of the things that probably messed me up early in my weightlifting journey, I started lifting heavy too early. I should have maybe been gradually going up, maybe 10 pounds a month, not really being in a rush. But I started lifting really heavy really early, and that was really hard on my joints. And plus I was doing military service, so I'm doing PT and ruck marches and weighing 80 pounds of gear. So my joints was pretty much in a bad spot at one time. So I had to lay off with a heavy weight at one point, man. I was doing buck 15 incline 6 sets. Everything was 6 sets. That's how we was getting down. We was in Iraq, 131 degrees outside in a tent. The bar so hot you had to put on gloves, man. You couldn't touch the bar. No AC. You leave out of there look like you got out of a swimming pool, bro. And this is how we was getting down with jailhouse workouts. When I got home, people didn't recognize me. And that set the tone. Only thing I regret, I went too heavy, too fast. And that would be my only advice. Well, not my only advice, but my biggest advice to young boys.
Yeah,
Gradually work the way up.
and usually when you make those kind of too, there's always a problem in form because when you
Yep.
tend to really try to blow up a lot of fast weight quick, you make errors in form, and form fucks you up. I had hurt myself deadlifting one day, not with a lot of weight, it was just 405,
Mm.
405 pounds. But I had come over, and when you deadlift, you supposed, of course, make sure that bar is right on your shins, and your behind is down on the ground, and then your behind comes up. You're supposed to lift and then come up straight on the bar. But I had the bar, you come up straight. There's a whole technique to really getting your deadlift right. and the bar was just a little bit off of my shins, and I decided I was just gonna just kind of just snatch it. Next thing you know, my back was like 405, and I was injured for about 2 months.
Yeah.
Of which, and it was a small thing. Little things get you hurt in this business. Little things get you hurt, especially when
Luckily,
you,
I've never really hurt myself with
especially when you deal with
deadlifts.
poundages.
It's
You
usually
know,
squats that kill me because squat is, you talk about technique, man. If any part of your posterior chain does not line up the right way, if you've got hips that are too tight, ankle mobility, or you don't have very much ankle mobility, all of those
or
things can
or
lean
if you,
you one way or the other way, and you come
yeah,
down, you're done. You are done.
or you could be leaning forward.
Right.
You could just it, and those kind of things can kind of, and you can get away with leaning forward for a little while, but when you
Right.
start to get into the heavier pants, that's not a so yeah, so squats are good, but you have to be very careful. Oops,
Yeah.
sorry, I just pulled my earphones out. But you have to be very careful, very strict to form. Form is very
Right.
important.
Now I
And
did.
it's easy to do that. Anyway, go
So
ahead.
I did want to ask what y'all's experiences have been with nutrition, because that's been a whole different game that I had to learn really while I was in law school,
Mm-hmm.
about the importance of it, what works, what didn't work, how you feel, how do you figure out what your ideal diet is going to be? And it's really not about diet; it really is about lifestyle.
That's a critical question. I think it really comes down to if you're powerlifting and you're lifting for power, you're going to need to take on a certain level of protein. You're going to have a fairly high protein diet. You're going to want to put on a certain level of mass, power, a little more muscle mass. It's going to help you lift heavier weight. So certainly a bit more, a little more heavier protein, is kind of it's kind of important.
Yeah.
Higher protein diets. So eating, especially if you're doing a lot of squats, deadlifts, means chicken to a degree, but you're gonna have to eat a little more steak and so forth. That's going to have not only just higher levels of protein, but also higher levels of natural creatine in it as well. So that plays a key role. Balance, but keep fairly low on fats. I mean, if you're really going to be a big, super duper power lifter, you're going to be lifting a lot of weight. You're going to have to be somewhat of a big guy, not fat, but big, because you're going to have to handle a lot of weight. So that's where powerlifting, you're going to have to lift, you're going to have to lift a lot of weight. You're going to have to eat a lot of protein.
You see, that's how I know you are a 120-kilo lifter right there. That's how I know, because you have the luxury of eating really for mass and size. My experience is a little bit different, because I like the 83-kilo weight class.
Yeah.
So I can't so I can walk around up to 195. I don't like really going over 200.
Yeah.
But the problem is getting back down to 182 when it's time for me to get on the platform.
Well, 182. I mean, there's certain things that you can do to keep you actually getting down the weight. And a lot of people don't suggest that you do it, but I've done it, and I've seen a lot of people do it who've done well. Is do road work. Oh no, you lose too much muscle that way. Running helps you to get nice and lean, get you down to that fighting weight.
Yeah, cycling is what I choose. I'll just get on
Cycling,
the bike.
cycling is cool. But running, especially running up. And if you can, if you got excellent running shoes, because even though people say it's stuff on the knees, but pay the big money for the extra for the running shoes and start and run incline on hills. Running is going to burn a lot up. It's going to also get your legs in great shape. It's going to really hook up your cardio, and you're going to burn a lot of fat that way, and you're going to actually lean out nicely, and that will get you down to fighting weight pretty quick. That's what boxers and fighters do. Right. And people say, well, no, you shouldn't do that. Well, if boxers and fighters are doing that, and they're fighting
right.
at and then they can go 12 rounds. Then what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? That's what I tell guys. And so that's an old training technique that some of the old bodybuilders, other guys use. Now they got a lot more drugs and this kind of stuff like that to help you lean out, which I'm not in favor of. But running is harder. So those 3 mile runs in the morning are going to get you down to that weight pretty quickly. 3 miles.
Yeah, what I will typically do is sprints. So I'll toss on, even if I'm lifting in the summer, I'll toss on a jacket and I'll do some sprint work and then get on a bike. And the main reason why I choose a bike over running is it opens up the hips for me. And for me, my lower back gets just really beat up when I do a lot of long distance running, which I used to do a lot. But for me personally, I can get on the bike and go for 10 miles and really focus on my hips, and it saves my knees as well. But if I'm able to do it consistently, I really, really like having that bike.
Well, yeah, man. I want to come from a perspective of a slender guy. In my diet, you know, so maybe for the last 7 years, most of the food that I eat is steak, fish, and chicken. I bake all my food.
Yeah.
Every now and then, I can handle a cheeseburger. I just don't gain weight. If I stop working out tomorrow, I will probably go back down to 170. Just a slender guy. But yet and still, I still watch my foods, right? So I don't eat a lot of fried food. I stopped eating pork a long time ago. Just the basic things. I haven't drunk a protein shake in like 5 years, but I'm about to start proteining again since I know I'm gonna be back in the gym consistently. But I usually do one protein shake right after the gym. Scoop of protein, cut up a banana, scoop of peanut butter, some milk. That's a meal. You be up pissing all night, but that's pretty much that sacrifice. Now, you know, I stress to guys a lot. You have to know your body. You have to know what your body needs. So let's say, for instance, your brain is feeling kind of foggy and cloudy. That tells you probably need some more green vegetables in your life. It's certain things that I know about my body that I can count on. I can feel myself getting dehydrated. I know these things. I took time to get to know myself. And that's very key in this business if you're really going to be serious about picking up heavy ass weights. Now, these kings asks, is using supplements necessary to get gains? I would say no. And this is another place that I went wrong. I used to spend a lot of money every month buying supplements. It's nothing that I haven't tried except for steroids and HGH. I've tried a lot of different supplements, and now I'm on this pre-workout stuff, and I can't really get off of it. I can work out without it, but it's not the same pump. So I'm trying to wean myself off of the pre-workout, but I started using that a long time ago. After like long days of work, a scoop of pre-workout, it would really help me get pumped up to go bang out. That's gym lingo for workout, but we call it bang out. And oh yeah, we're gonna get into the gym lingo as well, because everybody got their own lingo, but we call it the bang out sessions with myself. But as far as supplements, man, I would say, protein. Some guys use creatine. I think creatine put a lot of water on you. So I just do a scoop of protein, man, and kind of leave it at that. But once you start really dipping into those supplements, I tried testosterone boosters. I crashed real hard after I got off of those. I put on 10 pounds in a week before. Using testosterone boosters, it was nothing but water. But when I got off of it, I crashed. So I said I'll never do that again. So I would be very careful about using supplements, man. But you guys can go ahead.
Yeah, for me, diet wise, I usually like cutting out sugar. Now that doesn't necessarily mean no carbs. I've done keto, which I really actually did enjoy. But when I'm doing really intense workouts, I need carbs. So usually what I'll do is rice, spinach, fruits, like fibrous fruits. So pretty much anything that has a lot of fiber, like avocados. Um, that's where I'm getting my carbohydrates from. And if I need something a little bit more than that, then I'll up the fruits or get some from some pre-workout. The only pre-workout I really use is C4, but they changed the formulation. I'll still use it, but it's not as good as it used to be. But coffee, honestly, that's been a really good one for me. Because I mean, I'm in the office, I drink coffee just about every day. Um, but other than uh, protein, because I gotta hit protein. Like if people know you've got your macronutrients, which are your fats, your carbohydrates, and your protein. And everybody, based off of their body and what they do, there's a different amount of each you need or you should have every day. So I think it's suggested if you want to put on muscle to have anywhere between 80% or it's really 0.8 time your body weight in pounds. And that's the amount of protein that you should have, anywhere between zero point 0.8 or 1.2 times your body weight in pounds. And that's the amount of grams of protein that you should have, at least from my experience.
That's what they say, but it's really difficult to really
Yeah,
measure it. It's when C Boogie says it comes down to knowing your body. That's how it is because some people may need that, others don't. There's
right,
not one simple reason, so you have to see what works well for you. Certainly,
right.
being well balanced. You don't need supplements. Supplements are for the supplement industry to sell you a lot of crap
Yep,
that you don't need. Protein is just a small supplement anyway. You don't really need it. If you eat a well balanced meal and you want to, if you want to put on weight, you want to eat a little bit more, eat a little more protein and so forth. But if you want to lose weight, you want to eat 6, 7 times a day, small meals, ramp up your metabolism. Certainly, foods like chicken breast, broccoli, brown
right.
rice. All right. You have that 5 times a day. You work out. Okay. You do your cardio. You're going to lose weight, put on muscle at the same time, shred up, look great. Now, a guy like myself, hard for me to lose weight as I get older, so I put on weight real easy. I can get, put on a lot, but I really have to get, I'm going to go on a very serious cut coming up in February. So I'm going to cut from February to June. All right. And I already have my diet and everything else like that planned out because we're going pretty heavy right now. But, if I'm going to do this powerlifting, I have to see, I have to see because that might delay my cut a little bit. But we'll just have to see. But if I'm going to get right and have my six come in for this summer, like I had last summer, but I want to have my six come in right because I don't have a 6-pack now. I definitely don't. But in order for me to get there, that's going to take a good 10 weeks of proper diet, ramping up the metabolism, working out hard, but at the ramping my metabolism to lose weight. And it's a whole diet. There's a whole diet that I have to put that together. There's a brother out here also on YouTube. His name is Chris Jones, Physiques of
Yeah,
Greatness,
physiques are
Pump
great.
Chasers. As my boy, all
Mm-hmm.
right, and he shows you exactly how to get live. And been rocking with him now for a good 5, 6 years, and
Do you normally
he's
do the
he's
cut
live.
and bulk cycles?
Yeah, not so. I don't really do so much of a bulk, but I do more of a cut because it's easy for me to bulk.
Yeah,
So I really have to get more on a cut because I do take in, quite a few calories. The workouts that we do take in a lot. So I'll easily take in 5,000 calories in a day.
yeah,
And usually, but when I'm going on a cut, I want to take in 2,000 calories for the day, and therefore I'm going to be losing a lot of weight from there. So it's just knowing I've been doing this a long time, so I understand how it works. Um, but for others, it's they got to find that sweet spot, and it takes a while. It takes a while to really get with good trainers who can put up maybe a good meal plan for you and so forth can really help it out for you. But it all depends on what you're doing. Powerlifting is one thing, bodybuilding is something different, and the diets are going to be they're going to change somewhat. But being well rounded, certainly vegetables, you know, meat, protein, carbs, All that has to be there, but it all depends on what you're trying to achieve. And that's a simple answer. If you want to lose weight, there's one way to do it. If you want to gain weight, there's one way to do it. If you're going to build for strength, all right, for let's say for a powerlifting meet, there's one way to do it. If you're going to do a bodybuilding show, you want to get in shape for a show, or physique or body, however you want to play it. There's a very specific way to do that, and you have to do it right, because if you don't, you're not gonna get on stage looking fucked up. So so there's ways to handle all of this, and there are methods to it.
Now, I will say, for those who aren't really interested in doing a lot of heavy lifting, what I started out doing was really body weight and calisthenics. So this is push-ups, pull-ups, really anything like static holds. I don't know if y'all you're with Bar Stars or Bar Brothers. I know up in New York, there are a lot of dudes that do that a lot. Where
Bar Stars is one of my boys, but anyway, go ahead.
But that's just another way, because you can still put on mass, you can put on strength, you really get cut and create a good base for you, because that's how I started, was learning the muscle ups and stuff through gymnastics. And then I was just like, okay, I've been lean for a while. Let's see what happens if I start, moving weight. And then I put on some muscle. But there is no one way to do anything. You just have to figure out what works well with you and what your goals are. And really, before you start picking up a bar or a dumbbell, you got to figure out what your goals are. Why are you doing this? What are you trying to accomplish? Because, you can just say, oh, I want to look however I want to look, but what exactly does that mean? What happens when you get there? Are you done? You throw your hands up? Because a lot of people will say, oh, I got to look good for spring break. What happens after spring break? Like, it's not just over then. You got to then set the next goal, and then the next goal, and the next goal. You got to make it a habit. You got to make it a lifestyle. And so whether that's boxing, because I know some friends that box, Nagone mentioned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I know a lot of people that do that. Whatever you do, figure it out and do it consistently, because they're going to make the biggest gains regardless of what you do by staying consistent with it.
Consistency is the number one thing to success. That's in life. Consistent with your business, consistent with your diet, consistent with your life. Everything, consistency is the most important thing. That's why I say the gym is life in a lot of ways, because you only way you're going to see results if you're consistent. People come in there, oh, I'm going to start out in January, and I'm going to look like Superman in June. No, you're not. No, you're not. If you really want to start to look good for June for July of next year, for the summer, you got to be going hard. In fact, you should have started back in September.
Yep.
That's if you're going to look good for the summer.
How long have you been doing this?
I first started lifting back in 1976.
Y'all hear that?
Now I've been lifting all my life pretty much, but really getting into what I've been doing recently, about the last 7 years, 7 years.
Yeah, this is
steady. I remember I started out, I think it was Planet Fitness. I first really got back in there, and I remember I couldn't even do the 60-pound dumbbells. They were killing me. And I was 60-pound dumbbells with heaviest in there, and those things were breaking my back. Couldn't even get those up. So, started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. That's why people don't worry about what your weight is. Don't compare yourself to other people. I enjoy doing heavy poundages. I enjoy throwing up beastly biblical weights. But at the end of the day, I started out very light. 160 pounds on the barbell was killing me. I was a fat dude, could not, I just let myself go. I wasn't in shape. And then I said, I got to get back into shape. So it took me a while to get back. So it took me years before I was able to really get up in some, before I was able to get in some serious weights. So if I am pushing 500 pounds now and above and all these kind of things, it's taken me years to get there. This didn't happen overnight. And I made sure I didn't hurt myself. Men my age should have, my joints are in beautiful condition. Shoulders and everything are very good. Even though I've had some shoulder pain, and I put a video up where I was doing 405 with a bed, with my shoulder was hurting. And I was really stupid that day. I was doing that. One of my boys was spotting me, but I was hitting 405. That was dumb. That was an example of some dumb shit I was doing. But you know, you get a little bit smarter on some of the things that you do. So you got to be careful in how you lift, and always have good spotters with you and everything else like that to keep you healthy. But good form is very important. But anyway, you know, that's what this thing is all about. So, but it's consistency. You got to stay consistent. You know, it's not going to happen for you overnight. So people who are looking for overnight results or to become Superman overnight, forget about it. You know, forget about him. You know, my boy Patricky, you know, he started out, you know, 188, but he's 265. But that was over a period of 5 years, 4.5, 5 years of training, constant, consistent training. You know, we don't lift weights, we train.
Right.
It's different. You know, now to do some of this powerlifting stuff is a little different. Yeah, you were talking about the 5x5. But really, you know, when I first really started getting more into the powerlifting lift, it was we were doing 5, 3, 2 and 1s. You know,
starting strength is kind of like that.
You know, but now, you know, like I said, I'm at my age, I'm a little nervous of just doing these 1 rep maximums, because now you start getting into where you can get hurt, and I don't, you know, and at my age, if I blow a shoulder or I tear a pec or something else like that, I'm finished. So I got to be, you know, I got to be careful.
Yeah,
in everything that I do, but the weights are an addiction. They're drugs to me. These are drugs.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
What kind of equipment are y'all using when y'all work out? Y'all use gloves? You use belts?
I use gloves, and I use Cardillo and Shike belts.
Okay, Shike.
Yeah. Cardillo and Shike. Shike for the power. But Cardillo is one of the best belts that you can have. Just walking around, just basic lifting, basic working out, basic benching, basic squatting, basic deadlifting. It's good, but if you're going to get in a heavier, you know, the powerlifting Shike is what I think is the best. Now there are many others who have many different ideas and different products that they may want to use, but those are just mine, you know, and you know. But as far as regular baseline training belt, Cardillo. That's my stilo.
Yeah, I just recently started using a belt, so I'm still using my wife's belt. I got her belt when she started lifting with me.
No, man. Listen, bro, you're gonna.
Oh no, I know I'm gonna definitely get a higher quality belt, but I was
get that heavy
lifting
duty shit.
Pure raw for the first 5.5 years I was lifting. I wasn't even using sleeves until about 6 months ago.
That's good, but you want to avoid injury, because what happens is that belt really lines your spine. And what you're going to find is that you push your abdomen against that belt with heavier weight, it's going to increase your lift 40, 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Easily.
And I've definitely felt it. Plus, the belt that I got her is actually considered a unisex belt. It still isn't as thick as I would want it to be, but it's definitely better than not using it. It's dramatically changed my experiences. The sleeves were a big move for me to do, period. And they've really, like, you have major patellar tendonitis and issues. And those really I haven't had at all since I started consistently using those knee sleeves. I don't use gloves. I've got a lot of calluses. I started off when I was younger doing a lot of manual work. My dad's a brick mason.
I use gloves. I mean, I use gloves because, like, you know, it's my business. A lot of times, you know, you shake hands with people, so you want, you know, I don't, but I do have calluses. I have big knobs. I have big knobs on you know, in there. You know, even with gloves, and I have Shike gloves too that I use, as well as the belt. But I was also going to say, if you're doing your bench press and you're not having a spotter, go with the slingshot. Get the slingshot.
Yeah, I got a sling. I love the slingshot.
Mike Smelly Bell on the crew. They ain't no joke with that. So definitely get the slingshot. It's a great help. That's gonna improve your bench. At least if you use it consistently, use it right. Relatively short period of time, 50 pounds. You're gonna add on to that.
Yeah,
for
I'm getting
sure.
into it a lot more now.
Yeah.
Actually, after I finish my last meet, I'm now basically exclusively focusing on bench, and I'm gonna use a slinger probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
That was the first time I touched 405 was with the slingshot, which was dope. Basically, if
Yeah.
y'all don't know, a slingshot is this elastic band that you put around your elbows or really closer, like between your shoulders and your elbows.
Yeah.
And what it does is it pulls your elbows in, which a lot of people forget about with the bench. And it gives you a little bit of pop at the bottom when you're pushing off.
Pushes
But
off.
by the
It's
time you go halfway, it's essentially all you to
mm,
get the lockout. So
yeah.
what it's doing is you can go above your max and really prepare your central nervous system for heavier and heavier
Yeah.
weight. Um,
Absolutely.
as long as you use it the right way. In fact, I'll even use wrist wraps if I'm using the slingshot heavy,
Yeah.
just because it's a little bit of instability to
Yeah.
start off with relative to what a normal bench is. And I want it to be as safe as possible.
All
Um,
right.
but it's a really dope tool and it's fun to use. Legit.
Another thing too, to increase your bench, if you really want to get it going, inclined dumbbell bench press.
Mm,
Incline and get the DBs as heavy as you can go. All right.
yeah.
So right now, what's your maximum bench press right now? That you have about 365. You said
380. But the
380.
problem is, yeah, 380 is about where I'm at. Like I could tomorrow, I could go and pretty confident that I could hit 380. The question is the pause, right? So like I could bounce the thing off my chest probably 395, but it doesn't matter if it's not going to get three white lights on the platform. So I hit 363 on my last meet, and if you would see my video, in fact, I'm going to post it up on my channel, which I hardly post on. I'm usually active on my Instagram, but I just could not lock out 380. But that was after doing all my squats, doing a bunch of bench before that. But I'm I'm confident that I could go in and hit 380 right now. But I need to be above 400, and that's what I'm trying to use the next couple months before I start getting back into formal training to focus on.
That's pretty good. 380 is pretty good. Start to hit the DBs
Yeah,
because that just and that's just training to help you in between what you're doing in your training. That will help you.
yeah,
So if you had 380 right now, you should be able to get on the inclines 140s or so.
yeah. The problem is my
Okay.
college gym only goes up to
Mm.
110 on the dumbbells. But
Mm.
but yeah, there's another gym that I go to that can go up to
You need to
200.
get into another gym that goes up to 200s.
Yeah,
So you need to get into that, and that's usually a powerlifting or bodybuilding gym.
yeah,
But you gotta have the big DBs. But DBs are good for strength to help you. Not that's not fully concentrated because you really have to work on the barbell, but really helping to increase that upper chest strength. You will find that will help you also when you're in your flat bench,
and it forces
as
you
well.
to work both.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you have to have that strength in both arms, where you can't. I tend to favor my right side a lot, and you can see it sometimes when I
It
bench with arms.
gives you a balance. That's why I like
Yeah,
the bees. Um, and some power lifters, do work with it, even though a lot of power lifters work with the barbell because they figure that the barbell is what they're going to be,
right.
utilizing it in practice. But if you just want to increase your strength, DBs get you definitely strong because they're two separate weights as opposed to one, and you have a greater range of motion, of course, with each one. But yet it's gonna work out imbalances in strength, and it helps to get you stronger. I mean, I'm big into the DBs, but certainly I mess with the barbell as well. So anyway, yeah, man, it's really that's really good stuff. See, Boogie, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to make a move, man, my man.
Yeah,
Okay, peace,
me as
Uh,
man.
well.
all right, it's really great talking with you guys. I could talk weights all night long. I love them. That's what I'm about. I love these weights. So it's all that's what I'm all about. But gentlemen, it's been a pleasure talking with you, my man. Good luck to you, man, in your law degree and your lifting that you're doing, and we're all of the same. And you'll come up to New York sometime. Hopefully, we can get a chance to get together and
Oh yeah, man. Powerhouse is the mecca. That's what I say in the gym.
and bang out. You know what I mean? That's what we're about. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. C Boogie, my brother, much love to you. To the chat, you guys is awesome. And I got to go. Thank you guys. Thank you guys greatly,
Thanks,
man.
All right, thanks for
And
coming on, man.
awesome. All right, you guys, awesome.
Yeah, thanks, C Boog. I appreciate you allowing me to come on.
Oh man, it's no problem, man. Because I had been kind of postponing this thing, trying to get everybody together, man. But I think it turned out pretty good, man. And I really
Definitely.
hope some people really learn something, man. You got three different kind of lifters on the same hangout. And one of the things I also wanted to stress to people too, man, is calisthenics. You
Yeah.
know, uh, I don't do as many as I used to, man, but like I used to do a lot of push-ups. Just in the morning, man, I would wake up and just hang off the bed. Like you don't need a lot of space. And this is the thing about working out, like you don't have to pay a lot of money for, gyms if you don't have it. You can work out in place. Get down and do some push-ups. Get down, do some sit-ups. There's all kind of things you can do in a small spot.
Yeah.
Ask prisoners. I've
For
seen it.
free too.
So yeah, for free. So, that's the key, man. And that's pretty much where I'm at with this thing, man. I don't ever see myself stopping from working out, barring any injury. Like I say, I'm going out like Ronnie Coleman, bro. That's hopefully it won't get to that point, but I'm
Mhm.
just being funny with it. But I'm serious, man. I'm addicted to the process, to
Yeah.
getting my gym bag, getting my gym clothes, driving to the gym. That's a peaceful time. Getting in the gym, banging out, driving home from it's a process.
Hell
You get
yeah.
addicted to the process.
Man, for
Um,
me, I know I go in there, I look like an asshole, man. Like I look like a really approachable person right now, but when I'm in the gym, like don't talk to me unless I talk to you or you actually have something to say that's worth my time. I don't give it. I don't care who I'm looking at, who is around me. Even my wife, when she's at the gym with me, it's like I don't want her to talk to me unless it's about training or spotting me, or if she needs a spot. I don't really want a conversation because I'm like, and that's like my therapeutic zone.
mhm.
That's my time for me to do what I need to do, for me to hit my goals. It's all about me and my shit. Because if I'm able to take care of my shit there, then when I come out of it, I'm in a much better place to be able to mentally handle all the things that people need me to do outside of that. To answer a question for Mac 7114, yeah, it's definitely, I would say, triceps, lats, and back, man. Triceps is like everything from the lockout. Chest is everything from the really the nipple line, kind of, or your sternum. That's where I bring the bar down to. I use like an angle. I don't go straight down, and you get that a little bit off with your chest, and then it's triceps, but you're also pushing off from your lats. So big back, big bench, I would say. You do rows. I know CBG was talking about rows before. Rows, you should be rowing as heavy as you bench, which sounds crazy for people that are able to bench real heavy. Row is kind of considered a accessory, but if you get those rows heavy, you can get that bench heavy.
Oh yeah, for
That was
sure,
what my
man.
suggestion would be.
Oh yeah, for sure, bro. I definitely know a lot about the dumbbell rows, man. I mean, excuse me, the barbell rows. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Um, but this thing is a process for everybody, man. It's really staying consistent, getting into a discipline, and eventually, you'll learn to like it. Because what some people do, kind of like the New Year's Eve resolution workout people, they get in the gym for a few days and they realize they got to lift that heavy ass weight every day. And it's
right.
like, oh man. But eventually, man, if you learn to do what you don't feel like doing, I mean, when you really make a concerted effort to get that in like that, it will become an addiction, man. And it breeds so much confidence in you as well. This thing is more than physical. it's so many mental uh, uh, faculties that this thing satisfies. It's almost a spiritual piece to this shit too, man.
Yeah.
Seriously, man. So really getting one with your body, getting one with yourself, man. This thing is really helping out with your primal instinct, man. And I talk about this matriarchal psychosis, man, but this is where it starts, man. A lot of this gym will make a man out you, one way or the other. You in there lifting this heavy ass weight.
You can't. I mean, you can't subject yourself to letting a female talk to you crazy when you've got that power within yourself, physically and mentally. If nothing else, you know that if you can mentally prepare yourself with the mind muscle connection, with knowing that you are a powerful individual, then it gives you that ability to kind of break up all that psychosis shit, or at least start to, because you're just like, wait a minute, I could put that bitch through a wall. Like, what am I? So, I mean, and it's not just about that. It's really about anybody, because you go through life, and I see a lot of dudes at the gym that I go to. It's primarily white. I hardly see any black folks, and it's mostly black dudes that I see. And I see the way that they look at me when I'm working out and when I'm putting the weights on the bar. And they know that they can't even come close to what I'm doing. Like, yes, you're not going to touch this masculinity right here. You're not going to be able to question it. And I don't, like, it's an afterthought. Like, I can see it in their eyes, and I'm like, cool, and I'm moving on because I'm all about my own shit. So it really heals a lot of insecurities that a lot of men might have if they aren't connected to it. And it's a great base for your future as a man. It's so therapeutic. Like, for real, it is therapeutic. But yeah, I don't know if because I actually got to go and do a little bit more work before I get out of here. But
Yeah, man, we can stop it right here, man, because I was going to stop it anyway, man. But I want to thank you for coming on, Max Warrior. I want everybody to subscribe to Max Warrior Lifting, man. He got some videos up, man, and I'm sure he's going to be posting a few more soon.
yeah, it's actually, my Instagram is a lot more active. I'm
Yeah, man, give your give your Instagram handle, bro.
Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat.
Yeah, man. I definitely want to salute you, bro, and congratulations passing the bar, man, and I'm sure you'll have great success, man. And this is what it's all about, man. Brothers really linking up, bro. And just chopping up game, man, sharing game with each other, man. That's one good thing that the social media piece has really did. I believe it can be negative or it could be used for good, man. So brothers really linking up and sharing game, man. And so yeah, bro, this is what it's all about, man. But hey, man, I want to salute you, man, and I want to salute everybody in the chat room. Straight ahead, man. And yo, man, I want to get you back on here again, man. I'm gonna start doing some more hangouts, man, and because I usually just drop the link, man, but been kind of slacking lately. But yeah, man, I want to get you on here again, man, and we could just talk about anything, man, life, man, success, corporate America, man. Just really chop it up, man, and just build.
Yeah, definitely, man. Straight ahead. I appreciate it. Definitely.
All right, man. Much success to you, bro. But I got your email, so I'll email you, man. But thanks,
Yeah.
man. Peace.
All right. Peace.
Okay.